Hello there, welcome and welcome back to the Whole Bucket. And welcome back to Zebra Talks. It is Zebra Talks week 3. And I'm going to do a quick recap of the 2 Zebra Talks we've done so far. And just because I made a change to something and I thought I should share my addition. And then we're going to move right on. And I think today is going to be fairly quick. At least I'm going to try to keep it that way. So let's move right on. Let's look at the book. And I'm going to get my glasses on because I can't see my own book. Ooh. Okay. So, week 1 was looking at our early days as a chronically ill person, correct? And I decided to note that it was a long road. It was zeroing in on, what's wrong. So I was putting a positive spin on a long, difficult road. I am learning to acknowledge my own strength. Still doing that. Still trying, right, to acknowledge that I am a strong zebra, not a failed horse. I don't know about you. Like I mentioned that some people have really positive experiences, right? But some of us have super negative experiences. And I was so often told that I didn't measure up and I wasn't good enough. And the way I tried to cope was wrong. Don't do such stupid bad things. And good grief, it goes on and on, right? Anyways, that makes you feel like a failed horse, only you're not a horse. So why are you trying to be one? The gist of that is, if you are a person with any chronic condition that changes the way you function, function the way you function. And if you don't know how, well, hopefully what we're doing here is going to help us learn how, or, help us get around some stuff, get our heads around some stuff. Okay, allow all the ups and downs. I'm super struggling with that today. Not sure today is a great day to be filming, but on the other hand, it might be the perfect day to be filming. We'll find out somewhere in the long run, and find a way to be your own positive support. Super, super, super important. And what I mean by that is rest when you need to, exercise when you can, keep your brain active, be your own positive support when things are super, super bad. What can you do to help yourself feel better? Boy, do I need that today. And yeah, okay. Moving on. We did Who Are You Right Now? And here's the change I made. I don't know what this means for who am I right now, but I am currently overwhelmed to the point of inaction. I am so overwhelmed by health issues and the bills that come along with it, and the well, we're going to get into it in a second, but the depression and emotional garbage that comes along with it. I'm so overwhelmed by all of it that I am finding it difficult to do anything at all. And that's what today is all about. But we did talk about the fact that I am an artist and learning how to acknowledge that I have chosen artist as my the rest of my life career choice. And it's a career that is currently stagnant, and I want to do things to improve it. And it is a term that I am have always had difficulty acknowledging, and I'm trying to learn how to do that. That I am a toddler, in that I am learning how to do some very basic things and why to do some very basic things that really just never stuck in my brain. And it's something I want to do, right? I am an always learner. I am a resourceful person, so I was trying to, give myself some credit for some stuff. And I am someone who sets up my own failures. And I do. I am also a self-advocate. Right now, I am overwhelmed to inaction. So, with all of that said and the recap pretty much done, today's question or prompt is, how do you feel about yourself today? The good, the bad, the ugly, the truth, no matter what it might be, is the only thing that matters here. So I am going to do my little Zentangle exercise while I chat through some stuff, and then we'll figure out how to write that down for today. But, oh, yep, I was going to say I lost my marker, but no, I didn't. It's right here. It's right here. I'm also going to put some of my hair back because I'm kind of roasting today. Roasting. I do have a big sweater on, so I should change that. Whatever. So today's Zentangle is going to be something stupid easy. I am going to put a little wiggle frame around the prompt today. And the background page is just some shadowy images of wildflowers, right? And today I'm just going to add some flowers and maybe even a ferny kind of thing to this page just to give it some more life. So if you want to do this with me, you can. And if you don't, I'm going to start talking over some processing stuff for how do you feel about yourself today. You can think about the things that I'm saying and see if that helps you process. If you don't need help processing, sit here with me while I process, and you can go ahead and start writing the things that you think about how you're feeling about yourself today. Okay, so our Zentangle today, the first one anyway, is a little flower I want to add. And it just starts with a super curvy U where the tops touch. Well, okay, almost touch. Okay. Well, you know, I'm not an official Zentangle teacher. I'm going to turn that into a little orb, a little pod, and I'm going to thicken the bottom and turn that into a little dot also. The next thing I'm going to do is put a little fat bottom on my flower, just like that. And then I'm going to put a stem on my flower, and I'm just going to curve in and down, and then do the same thing on this side, curve in, and then what did they say that is when you follow the same line side by side? I'm echoing the line anyway. I don't remember what Zentangle calls it when you echo a line. They have a term they use, and I don't think it's an obscure term. I just can't remember what it was. It looks like I'm thickening this line. I didn't intend to do that, but it turned out to be a bit wonky, so I'm going with it. I'm going with it, folks. Okay, and then I'm going to go up here to the top, and I'm going to do some little lines out the top. Now it's a closed curvy U. And then I'm going to put some teardrop shapes on top of those little lines. I don't know why. This isn't an actual flower. This is just some thing I felt like doing, right? And then I'm going to put some stripes in my flower. There's actually a weed pod of some sort that reminds me of. I don't know what the weed is. I don't remember what the pod is, but I remember playing with it when I was a kid, and I would tear it open, and I think I think it's full of seeds. Fluffy ones, maybe. If that rings a bell to anybody, let me know. I don't know what that would be, but I think it kind of rings a bell to me. Okay, that's the Zentangle I'm doing. So now I'm going to talk about how do I feel about myself today, and I'm going to make some more flowers. So follow along in any way that you choose and any way that works for you. So the reason I said I'm not so sure if today is a good day or a bad day to be recording is because today in particular, I'm feeling pretty horrible about myself. So some people watching this will know, and some will not, that I had an infection early in January that had me in the hospital. And it took me months to feel like I was back on my feet. And I thought, okay, I'm back on my feet. I'm going to try to rejoin the world. Well, then I tried to rejoin the world a little bit, and it didn't work out so great. I got sick again. I got a virus and a new infection and a couple of consequences of that, and I had 4 things all at once that put me in the hospital again. They were not anything major, right? But it was 4 things all at once on a body that already has a hard time coping. So it was not fun. It was a bit much. So then I started feeling better from that, and I thought, okay, well, that wasn't that bad. So I kept my attitude up, and I'm okay, great. And I thought, well, I'm going to get back on my feet. Well, this past weekend, it's not even just this past weekend, is it? Because it was actually, I think it was all last week and the weekend before that. So it's been another week. I think it's a full week now that I all of a sudden got sick again. And I don't know what it is this time, but it has me sleeping for days at a time. That's why I can't really tell you how many days it's been exactly, because I'm completely out of touch with time. And I've been weak. I've been unable to do stuff. Whatever. And apparently my brain's not working either. Which, actually, yeah, it has been a whole week, because I said the same thing last week, and I said it for this reason. Because I wasn't feeling well last weekend, although I didn't know I was going to get quite so sick. Okay, so anyway, the point is this. I am feeling pretty horrible about myself, which is, I'm sure you're hearing it already, is completely unfair. But if you are also a person who has chronic illness, you know gosh darn well that a lot of us do that, right? Are unfair to ourselves. So I am behind on my laundry so bad that I don't have any clean clothes. I have clean jammies though. That's all that really matters right now. I keep losing control on my house, which, whatever, right? I'm not keeping up on my artwork, which makes me sad because artwork makes me happy. And I'm not able to really do much. What I'm really wondering about, or why I'm really wondering about if this is a good day to film or not, is because, I mean, would it be better to talk about how I feel about myself today on a good day where I'm like, oh, what do you mean? Everything's fine. Or is it better to talk about how I feel about myself today on a day where, to tell the truth, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by health. I really have a few doctors I should be seeing, but my doctor bills are so high right now that I really just don't want to keep adding on to the doctor bills. Besides that, it's actually hard to get cleaned up and dressed and out to the appointments while I'm trying to recover, because if you know anything about the spoon theory, when you're not doing well, a doctor's appointment can take up all of your spoons and then some. If you don't know about spoon theory, that is coming up in the future. But basically all it means is that if you're not doing particularly well, that appointment might be the only thing you can do. And if medical stuff is the only thing you can face, and it's the only thing you can do, it's not a very rewarding, happy place to be. And that's where I am right now. So, yeah, not feeling great. How do I feel about myself today? I feel crappy about myself because I'm not functioning. I'm not happy. I'm not doing enough. I'm not completing enough. If you were waiting for a November or December journal for gift giving season, I apologize because they're not getting done at all. I can certainly try if somebody makes an actual request for a month that is not represented in my store. I certainly would make an effort to fill a request, will not make any promises. And if you think that's silly to say, it's actually not silly to say, because I can be kind of motivated if I am given a task. It's sort of the free-for-all that really, I can't find my own focus, if you know what I'm saying. If there's too many things on my plate, I can't find my own focus. If somebody else says, hey, focus on this, I'm like, oh, okay, I can focus on that. If you're that kind of person too, tell the people around you, or your caregivers, or your support team, or whatever it is that you've got. Tell them that you need a task. If you're like that too. Anywho, that's how I am. Not only do I do better if I have a task, do better if I have a task that has a very short time frame. Adrenaline is very good for me. Maybe not in the long run. Maybe not in the long run, to be honest, because adrenaline, man, it does really good at the time, but then I do too much, and then I crash, and then I sleep for days, and then I'm back to being depressed. So, let's start writing some stuff. How do I feel about myself today? I think I've processed quite a bit of things. I feel lousy. Is that how you spell lousy? I feel lousy. Lazy. Foggy. Oh my gosh, the brain fog is just ridiculous. Let's just call it what it is. I feel fat. Sometimes I don't care that I'm fat. Sometimes I care. Right now I kind of care. So I'm adding it to the list. I feel sick. I feel self-judgy. And unfair. That means to myself. I would never talk to other people like this. Never. Never. Do you talk to yourself like this? You should never talk to yourself like this. If you would never talk to other people like this, you shouldn't talk to yourself like this. I do. All the time. Okay. We're on a journey. It's okay. We're on a journey. All right. Unfair, lousy, lazy, foggy, fat, sick. Self-judgy. That's a lot of negative garbage. But it really is where I am. I don't know what I'm going to do about it right now. I really have to kind of get it under control, you know? How do I feel about myself today? Okay, there's something I don't know really how to put in a feeling about myself. Is that... Okay, so I said it last week that I set myself up for failure, which is true. And I mentioned a lot of the ways that I do that. One of the ways applies to this. One of the ways I set myself up for failure is that I know some stuff that helps me manage these feelings and get them under control. I know some things that I can do that literally, literally is the wrong word. I know for a fact they actually help me feel successful and less chaotic, and they make me able to take care of myself better, and I don't do them. So again, setting myself up for failure. So how do I feel about myself today? I feel okay, so I feel like a failure. Whoops. A failure who can't spell failure. And I feel like this is my toddlerhood is learning how to play with my toys, why it's important to put your toys away, why it's important to take care of your toys. I would say okay, again, super unfair. I'm going to say is rebellious with 2 L's? I can't think today. Rebellious preteen. So the reason I say that, and I guess I'll put it in parentheses right here, is because of what I just said. I know what will help. I've done some things that help, and I feel the help, and I love it when I do it, and then I quit. I quit, rebel, things that I know are helpful. So those things are, I have a schedule that I like to follow. It is very flexible on what I do in the schedule, right? But the one thing it does do is it keeps my physical activity at kind of a level keel, keeps it level, which is excellent for me. It also makes sure that I take my medications when I'm supposed to. There are a lot of them. So it keeps my medications on a nice steady course. It keeps my physical activity on a nice steady course. Those two things are super good for me. What I do in spaces of activity is completely flexible in my schedule, in that I can do whatever I'm capable of doing or nothing if I'm not capable. Then self-care stuff goes in there, more in-depth self-care, right? I don't know why I don't do that like all the time, every day. I get on track and then I get off track and I don't get back on. Once I fall off that wagon, it is so hard to get back on. So hard. Again, anytime that you hear something that I say that you can relate to, or that you have struggled with and maybe have tips on, put it in the description, because I'm not alone. I'm not alone in this. You are not alone in this. You. Yeah. You're not alone in this. There's bunches of us. And if we talk and share, we might learn stuff. Okay, so I feel like a rebellious preteen about myself. At least that aspect of myself, right? I'm not saying that's all of me. I feel like a failure, which is completely unfair. How can you be a failure when all your spoons are gone and there's nothing you can do about it? That's just stupid. But I'm not here to be dishonest. I mean, what's the point of sharing in such a public way if I'm not telling the truth? So I don't know if I'm going to say any more or not, but I am going to make a different flower. Let's make a different flower. I'm going to make something that I think looks a little ferny. And you can follow along and make this too if you want. So I'm just stepping away from my thought processes about how I feel about myself today to make this ferny thing, and then see if I come up with any more stuff. So I'm just making a spiral, and I'm just going to put these teardrop shapes only on one side all the way around the spiral. I am again amazed at how much just sitting doing this silly little fern-like thingy calms me. It just, it requires you to think of almost nothing, but just think enough to shut off everything else. At least for me, that's what these Zentingle patterns do. I think I've said that before, and I highly recommend you give it a try if you're not already trying it with me. I'm going to just put one of those little leaf curls up there, and then I'm going to go up with my pen to a spot here and finish that curve, or where I feel like it would be, right? That one got kind of wonky. I don't know that I'm going to add any more today. I am still trying to recover from whatever has knocked me out for the past week. Oh, yes, I am going to add something. Because honestly, after the infection and the months and the 4 other things and the months and now this last week been shot. Oh, and oh God. Yeah. Here's the other thing. I have at least 4 areas, and I think there was a 5th now, of infection in my body. And I have not written to my doctor yet, but I'm going to tomorrow morning. She just put me on a bunch of medications to try to get rid of the infections in my body. But there are at least 4 areas of infection that are not responding to medication. They're staying localized, right? So they, as far as I can tell, have not joined each other or ganged up on me. Hopeless and overwhelmed. I already mentioned it on the other page that I added it to who are you right now. So maybe it's how do you feel about yourself, or maybe it's early days, because it's early days right into today, right? Right into today. But regardless, my current status in chronic health, right? This is all related to chronic health, is I'm feeling rather hopeless and overwhelmed with it. Now, the truth of the matter is that personally, I stay in a pretty good mood all the time. I try to stay optimistic all the time. I try to stay happy all the time. I try to have fun even in the mundane things of a day all the time. You can't accomplish that all the time. But I don't see the point in being angry and being sad and being whatever. But when I think about being honest about what chronic illness is doing to me right now, and especially the last week, and the fact that my infections are back and full strength, and I have to write to my doctor again to say none of the medications apparently worked. None of them. This is where I'm kind of at on the insides, regardless of the fact that I try to maintain a sense of humor and a happy disposition whenever I can and wherever I can. You can see I've gone back to drawing, right? And I have been filling in those little top points of my leaves. I'm going to go back and do the other ones too. So, I mean, it's supposed to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think I've done the bad and the ugly. I think I'm going to finish my how do you feel about yourself today with a good note, because I don't want to leave today's session focusing only on the bad. So I'm going to say a little something about that maintenance of positivity that I try to maintain wherever and whenever I can. And I guess I will say, I don't know if this is exactly accurate, but I think, like I've said 100 times already, this workbook here is a journey, right? And I don't know that I need to be accurate just yet, but I will say that I have, how do I feel about myself? I feel a little bit proud of my resilience, and I forgot a letter, and I don't know if it has 2 L's. Resilience, is that how you spell it? Whatever, I don't care. Brain fog, not working today. I'm a little bit proud of my resilience, because regardless of all of this and all the health stuff and all the whatever, I do still try to stay happy and optimistic. Not doing a great job at it right now. Really kind of hopeless and overwhelmed right now, but still smiling. Yep. I will still smile. I will still draw flowers. I will still try to get to my art, because art is what makes me happy. I don't know what else to say. I did have another thought. Shoot, I lost it, and it was good. It was important. Well, again, I mean, maybe I can do what I did last week and go back to it and put something else in there. That is kind of why I leave space. I didn't leave a lot of space today, did I? I shouldn't have used a Sharpie, though. Look at next week's page. It's a big fat mess. I might have to do something about that. Shouldn't have used a Sharpie, but I love Sharpies. I don't remember the last thing I was going to put in here. I'm a little bit proud of my resilience. There is something else I thought was a little bit more important and a little bit better way to say this sort of concept, but it went away as fast as it went in my brain. It was gone. So we're going to stop right here. I'm going to post this video. It's a little bit late. Please accept my apologies that it is, several hours late. It is 12, 13, 14, 15 and a half. It is 15 and a half hours late. Sorry about that. I don't know what else. Okay, I gotta get. So, I'll see you next week, and we will work on whatever's next for us zebras. Take care till then. Bye.